Welcome back, guys. How are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day, night, or evening. Today, we want to know who sent the order and who's running the show. Well, we all know who the person is. It's God, of course. But sometimes people feel as though they are the ones in charge, okay? We have sibling rivalry going on. A sibling, a brother and sister are upset and blaming each other, fighting over who's right, who's wrong, and who has more information over the other in regards to blackmailing them. And we also have an aunt who has forged the signatures and been putting bills in her niece's name. She's also, let's see, what else has she done? She's also decided that she was going to place her name on the birth certificate, and authorities know. You know, there's so many things going on. I mean, really, where do you start? Where does it end? You know, in life, God will let you believe that you are running the show. He'll let you believe that you've been getting away with so much for so long. And then you get slack. You start thinking that you run the show, that you have so much ego going on. And that's a humanistic aspect of life, you know. We all have a tendency to believe that we are running things at times. You know, you could be running a business and you think, okay, you know what? I have all these people that are under me and they're going to do thus and so. And then you find that those people start quitting. They're not going to stay there because they're not going to call for the nonsense. They will not find themselves caught in a position that is unruly or something they just don't agree with. You know, in life, we all go through different transitions. We all go through different aspects of life where we feel that our ego is the one thing that really should be taking place in regards to, you know, running something. You know, there's also a practitioner who is refusing to work against the individual any longer because they're realizing that, you know what, it's only a matter of time till it trickles down to them. Whenever you're making a decision, whenever you are deciding that you want to get involved in something that is heinous, that's something that is unruly, something that is against the law, you have to be careful. You know, there are people who are being released now because they've been proven innocent. Certain people who think that they had so much power to point their finger, and because they were in a certain position, they felt that they wanted to put this person behind bars. And even people who have decided that they want to throw other people and get other people involved, innocent bystanders, you know, as if they haven't suffered enough during their lifetime as to why people would like to have them get caught up. You know, funny thing about sibling rivalry, it all starts with that green, you know. Green happens to be my favorite color, but we're talking about green with envy. Sometimes we have people who envy you so much. They wanted that position. There was a girl who was so popular by the family members. It was because she was always doing something. It was because she was, you know, her energy was just so light and so bright that the family members enjoyed being around her. Now her younger sibling, was jealous of this. And she wanted the position. So the best thing she found to do is to try to corrupt the system, marry someone and act as though she was the person, steal identity, steal the person's money, and then she thought that she'd won the war. But what she didn't realize is the older sibling didn't even want that person, you know, didn't want anything to do with that person because she realized that that person was about the closest thing to the devil as possible, and she wanted no parts of it. Now, the person who was involved, the male figure, he was so upset about the person rejecting him that he felt that he was going to ruin her reputation by saying horrible things, by filming her without her knowing, doing all sorts of things just to make the person feel low. But you know what? Once God has his hand in it, nobody has that type of authority. Now, a whole bunch of lawsuits about to come about. So many people want to leave the country. So many people thought they had offshore accounts. So many people taking a house and putting people in the house that were unalived. You know, it's just like, it's amazing all the things that people will actually do in order to find themselves in a better position. When I say God sees all, I really mean God sees all. And everyone was warned. Everyone was warned over and over again. God showed them to stop. Please stop this. Stop it. And they never stopped it. They thought that they were stronger than God. They felt like they had so much power. Well, you're going to see within these coming days, months ahead, how serious things could really get. You know, when you abduct a child, take that child from a happy home, and then the parents of that child are forced to fight against each other and blame each other because they have no other answers. You've compromised so many lives. And this is not only just one person, this is so many people who were victimized, so many people who were, taken out, and so many people who were placed in jail, all because one person wanting so much power. Now that person is now looking in the mirror and all they can see is the devil. You see, we're all going to be held accountable for our actions. All of us. I mean, nobody is unscathed by this. We all tend to do certain things that are not right during one time or another, whether it be a lie, whether it be you taking someone's chalk. I don't care. Whatever the case is, whenever you do something, there's going to be some kind of rebuttal, some kind of response to it, And again, people seem to forget that there's going to be a higher authority that's going to place that order. A higher authority who will become the judge. A higher authority who is not going to let so many things go through, like a person holding water in their hands, the water going through their fingers. It is important that we realize that every action breeds a reaction. You have a guy going to a woman's job still, and people who work at the job collaborating and thinking it's funny because they believed the lie in the first place. I said before, when someone tells you a story, you better look at that person, you better understand that there's more to that story, And so many people, one guy deciding that he is going to make his coworker feel uncomfortable based upon what he thinks he knows, when he could lose his job for making the statements that he made towards that woman, Everyone is going to see. It's like this security officer works at the airport, and he thinks he knows so much, so he sends his people to follow and chase a woman out of the airport. And he thinks he did something so great. He thinks that he was playing a game with a woman's heart when the woman felt nothing. He thought that he could play games and act as though he was ahead of something. Everybody's position could always be replaced by another person. We know that. In today's world, don't think that your job that you have is that safe to where someone who knows more, someone who could spend more overtime, person who wants that job can take that job. Nobody is irreplaceable, it seems these days. It's a shame, but in today's world, it seems as though you can be replaced no matter how hard you work, because you're not the boss. Diana Ross wrote that song, "The Boss," but and in that song it says, who sent the order? The thing is that love is the one thing that supersedes all of this. And I don't think anyone was thinking with a loving heart when they were deciding to take this one woman out, when they were deciding that they wanted her power. Or it's really God's power. Nobody else has most power than God. It's like even Jay-Z said, who can be higher, It's important that we realize that even when you're famous, you are touchable just like anyone else. And if you think you can steal people's ideas and you think you can, sacrifice so many individuals, God stands higher than you. Oh, yes, he does. It's most important that we realize that if we realize nothing else. Everyone is going to see, the world is going to see what is going to happen next. Because it seems as though people have lost hope. They've lost faith. When you have the faith of a mustard seed, it's funny because I remember Stephanie Mills saying this years ago about having the faith of a mustard seed. And I believe that is the faith that she had in regards to her becoming famous. I met famous Amos years ago in Hawaii. And he was starting a whole new company. He was done with selling his cookies and he moved on to something else. All of us can reinvent ourselves, no matter how old you are, no matter what you're going through in life. I'm the type of person who, no matter what happens, I'm not the type of person to just give up. If I want something, I'll work at it and I will strive to make it happen. Someone took a woman's words. They were listening to her phone conversation. And they took her words and they did something with the computer to place the words together in the sentence that they wanted. And they planned a collaboration so that they could act as though they were married to this woman and steal her property. Now there are two different people living in this woman's house, and it doesn't belong to them. Nobody seems to be taking responsibility in the story. But you know what? People don't want to leave. They don't want to go. They want to continue to do the same scavenger hunting. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we know who was the boss, as Diana Ross's song says. It's funny. I've listened to that song a million times. My mother used to be my mother figure used to be a good fan of Diana Ross. And never did I hear those words the way how I heard them so clearly this morning. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear and all the honest answers will be revealed. So that's my word. I hope you've had a wonderful day and thank you for joining us here at Indigo Moon.